Hello, esteemed gentlemen. The most powerful man in the room is the one no one sees coming. The world glorifies the loud, the flashy, the attention seekers, but true power operates in silence. While society keeps men distracted, emotional, and chasing illusions of success, there exists a different breed, one that doesn't play by the same rules. Sigma males are not just different, they are the final evolution of independent, highly strategic men. They don't seek validation. They don't waste energy proving themselves. They move like ghosts, think like tacticians, and make decisions like high-level chess players. While others react, they anticipate. While others seek approval, they disappear into self-sufficiency. And while the world is obsessed with trends and drama, they are 10 steps ahead, watching society collapse in real time. This isn't about being alpha or beta. This is about breaking the system entirely. If you've ever felt like the world is designed to keep men weak, emotional, and easily controlled, you're right. But Sigmas? They see the trap, they study the mechanics, and then they escape it completely. What makes them the smartest, coldest men in the world? That's exactly what we're about to uncover. Stay locked in, because once you see the game for what it is, there's no going back. Number 1, they emotionally neuter their opponents. Most people fight battles they don't even need to. They waste energy in pointless arguments trying to prove their worth to people who don't matter. Sigma males don't play that game. They don't argue, they don't explain, and they don't try to win debates. Instead, they let people emotionally self-destruct while they remain completely unaffected. It's a brutal but highly effective strategy. When someone tries to provoke them, whether it's an insecure man looking for a fight or a manipulative woman testing their reactions, Sigmas respond with absolute indifference. And that's what drives people insane. Most people thrive on reactions. They live for emotional responses because it gives them a sense of power. But when a Sigma male gives them nothing, they start unraveling. A man controlled by his emotions is easy to manipulate. If he's quick to anger, you can provoke him into bad decisions. If he's desperate for approval, you can control him with praise. But a Sigma? He gives nothing away. He doesn't argue back, doesn't defend himself, and doesn't flinch under pressure. Instead, he watches, calm, unreadable, and completely in control. And in that silence, his opponent starts exposing their weaknesses. People hate losing control over a situation. The more they try to get a Sigma to react, the more frustrated they become. That frustration turns into recklessness. They start over-explaining, getting defensive, and showing their true insecurities. They walk straight into traps they set for someone else. And the Sigma? He never had to lift a finger. This is why they win without even trying. They don't need to prove themselves because they know who they are. They don't waste energy on emotional battles because they understand the real game, the one where the most composed man always wins. While others burn themselves out in pointless conflicts, Sigmas conserve their energy, choosing their battles with precision. By the time their opponent realizes what happened, it's already too late. They've lost, not because the Sigma overpowered them, but because they destroyed themselves in the process. Number 2, they think in systems, not emotions. Most men let emotions drive their decisions: anger, excitement, fear, or the need for validation. They react impulsively, choosing what feels right in the moment rather than what makes sense long-term. Sigma males operate on a different frequency. They don't make choices based on fleeting emotions. They process reality like a high-level strategist. Everything is a system to them: human behavior, power structures, relationships, even their own mind. They analyze situations logically like a machine, breaking them down into patterns, probabilities, and potential outcomes. If something doesn't serve their long-term vision, they discard it without hesitation. No guilt, no second-guessing, no wasted energy. This is what makes them unpredictable. Most people are easy to manipulate because they wear their emotions on their sleeves. They get provoked, pressured, or guilt-tripped into bad decisions. A Sigma remains detached. He studies how people react, maps out their predictable behaviors, and uses that data to his advantage. If someone tries to bait him into an emotional response, he doesn't take it. If a situation feels overwhelming, he steps back and calculates the smartest move, not the most emotionally satisfying one. This mindset makes them masters of delayed gratification. While others chase quick dopamine hits, impulse purchases, shallow validation, pointless drama, Sigmas invest in what actually matters. They play long-term games, knowing that short-term emotions lead to long-term failures. This is also why they don't get attached to useless things. They can walk away from relationships, jobs, friendships, or opportunities if the system isn't working in their favor. While others stay trapped in emotional cycles, chasing people who don't respect them, staying in careers they hate, Sigmas cut their losses and move forward. They don't see life as a series of emotional highs and lows. They see it as a complex system of cause and effect, and they navigate it with surgical precision. By the time other men realize they've been wasting time on emotional nonsense, the Sigma is already 10 steps ahead, executing his next move. Number 3. They kill weakness in themselves first. Most men want success, power, or respect, but they refuse to face the one thing holding them back, themselves. They distract themselves with excuses, blaming their circumstances, society, or bad luck. Sigma males don't waste time with that nonsense. They understand a brutal truth. Weakness is a liability, and the first enemy to eliminate is the one in the mirror. This isn't about external battles. It's about internal warfare, crushing every habit, thought pattern, and behavior that slows them down. Self-pity, it's a poison that keeps men stuck. Procrastination, it's just self-betrayal disguised as patience. Emotional weakness, it makes a man vulnerable to manipulation. Sigmas recognize these as threats, and they don't negotiate with threats. They eliminate them. The process is ruthless. When they spot a flaw in themselves, whether it's laziness, fear, or dependency on external validation, they attack it like an enemy stronghold. They don't sit around hoping for motivation or waiting for the right moment to change. They force themselves to adapt, to grow, to become the kind of man who can't be broken. This is why Sigmas evolve faster than other men. They aren't blinded by comfort or pride. They accept their weaknesses with brutal honesty, then burn them out of their system. If they lack discipline, they enforce it. If they let emotions control them, they detach and regain power. If they recognize a toxic habit, they cut it off at the root. No hesitation, no excuses. Most men would rather protect their weaknesses than destroy them. They cling to bad habits because change is painful. They seek comfort instead of growth. Sigmas, they hunt down their own flaws and turn them into strengths. They'd rather suffer in private self-discipline than be exposed as weak in the real world. And that's what makes them unstoppable. While others are controlled by self-doubt, addictions, and emotional baggage, Sigmas have already killed those weaknesses within themselves. So by the time they step into the world, they aren't just stronger than other men, they're untouchable. Number 4. They live in the future, not the present. Most people are prisoners of the present. They chase trends, react to the latest drama, and live moment to moment, never questioning where it's all leading. Sigma males don't play that game. They aren't concerned with what's happening now. They focus on what's coming next. They treat life like a chessboard, always thinking 10 moves ahead. While society is distracted by meaningless debates, entertainment, and temporary pleasures, Sigmas are watching patterns, studying shifts, and preparing for the inevitable. They see the warning signs long before the average person even notices something is wrong. Economic crashes, social collapses, power vacuums. These things don't surprise them. Why? Because they saw them coming and positioned themselves accordingly. This is why they never panic. When the world spirals into chaos, the Sigma is already exactly where he needs to be, financially, mentally, and strategically. He doesn't scramble for solutions like everyone else because he built his escape plan years ago. People waste their lives living in the moment, chasing fleeting rewards. They're obsessed with temporary pleasures, viral topics, and whatever society tells them to care about. The Sigma? He sees the bigger picture. He asks himself, this mindset gives him a massive advantage. He doesn't waste money on pointless flexes. He invests in assets that will matter when the economy shifts. He doesn't chase shallow social approval. He builds skills and independence that will outlast the trends. While others are reacting, he's strategizing. This is why Sigma males always seem one step ahead of the world. They aren't psychic. They just think in timelines instead of moments. They don't waste time keeping up with society because they're too busy outpacing it. By the time the rest of the world wakes up, the Sigma is already at the finish line, watching from a distance, unaffected and untouchable. Number 5. They exploit modern women's psychological blind spots. Women today have been conditioned by society, social media, and modern culture to chase 3 things above all else: status, validation, and attention. They are surrounded by men who desperately provide these things, hoping to win their favor. But Sigma males, they do the exact opposite. While most men compete for female attention, buying expensive gifts, over texting, trying to prove their worth, Sigmas remain completely indifferent. They don't chase, they don't beg, and they don't pedestalize. And this does something powerful. It scrambles a woman's psychological wiring. Women are used to men fighting for their attention. When they meet a man who refuses to play that game, it creates cognitive dissonance. They don't know whether to be intrigued, offended, or obsessed. They ask themselves, the moment a woman starts asking these questions, the Sigma has already won. She is now chasing him, trying to understand why he's different, trying to get his validation. This is a complete role reversal from what she's used to. Sigma males exploit this psychological blind spot by remaining composed, emotionally detached, and unpredictable. They don't reveal too much, they don't make their intentions obvious, and they don't feed a woman's need for control. Because here's the truth. Women can't control what ignores them. They can manipulate desperate men, but they have no power over a man who simply doesn't need them. This is why Sigmas attract effortlessly. Their lack of interest makes them a puzzle, and women hate puzzles they can't solve. They will chase, test, and try to break a Sigma's indifference. But the more they try, the deeper they fall into his frame. Most men fail because they give women exactly what they expect: instant validation, predictable emotions, and easy control. Sigma males break this pattern, leaving women intrigued, frustrated, and magnetically drawn to them. Not because they played the game, but because they refused to play it at all. Number 6. They outsource their weaknesses like CEOs. Most men let their egos destroy them. They think being independent means doing everything themselves, refusing help, and taking on burdens they don't need. Sigma males know better. They don't waste time struggling with weaknesses. They outsource them like a CEO running a billion-dollar company. In business, the smartest leaders don't try to master every skill. They don't do their own accounting, marketing, or legal work. They hire experts and focus on what they do best, making high-level decisions and executing power moves. Sigma males apply this same mindset to life. They don't waste hours learning pointless skills when they can pay, trade, or leverage someone else's expertise. If they need something done, they find the best person for the job and get results faster than if they had tried to do it themselves. While other men struggle with things outside their strengths, a Sigma moves like a machine, optimizing every aspect of his life for maximum efficiency. This approach extends beyond just business. It applies to relationships, networking, and even day-to-day decisions. Sigmas don't surround themselves with useless people. Every connection they keep serves a strategic purpose. They don't waste energy on friendships that bring nothing of value. They don't date women who drain them emotionally. Every person in their orbit is an asset, not a liability. Even in self-improvement, Sigmas move differently. Instead of wasting years trying to figure things out, they learn from those who have already mastered the game. They read the right books, follow the right mentors, and absorb only the knowledge that directly benefits their long-term vision. They don't let their ego stop them from learning from the best, because the goal isn't to prove themselves, it's to win. Most men hold themselves back by thinking they have to do it all. Sigma males reject that mindset completely. They move faster, smarter, and more efficiently by eliminating weaknesses without wasting energy on them. They aren't stubborn, they aren't reckless. They're strategic to the core. At the end of the day, a Sigma's life runs like a high-performance system, because he designed it that way. Number 7. They let other men self-destruct over women. Most men are their own worst enemies when it comes to women. They drain their bank accounts on expensive dates, waste their time on meaningless validation games, and let their emotions be puppeteered by women who barely respect them. Sigma males. They don't fall into that trap. They watch from a distance as other men self-destruct, throwing away their dignity just to get a sliver of attention. They see men turning into financial ATMs for women who don't care about them, fighting over women who don't even like them, and emotionally wrecking themselves over relationships that were never built to last. A Sigma understands the brutal truth. Women naturally respect the men who aren't desperate for them. They don't chase, they don't overinvest, and they don't treat women like a prize to be won. They see relationships for what they really are, a game of power, leverage, and emotional discipline. And while other men are too blinded by lust or insecurity to realize they're being played, Sigmas remain cold, calculated, and in control. They don't just avoid the chaos, they benefit from it. While other men are spending their prime years competing for female attention, Sigmas are building wealth, skills, and independence. They let the weak destroy themselves in the emotional battlefield while they fortify their own empire. And the irony? By the time these other men realize they've wasted years of their lives on meaningless pursuits, the Sigma is already at the top, financially untouchable, mentally indestructible, and completely free. Meanwhile, the same men who mocked him for not playing the game are now broken, exhausted, and wondering where it all went wrong. Sigma males don't need to win the dating game. They let other men lose it for them. Number 8. They exploit digital leverage instead of wasting time. Most men use the internet like it's a toy. They scroll endlessly, consuming useless content, arguing with strangers and numbing themselves with distractions. Sigma males, they use it as a weapon. To them, the digital world isn't for entertainment. It's a tool for extracting money, power, and intelligence. They don't waste hours watching mindless videos. They use that time to study markets, build online businesses, and absorb high-level knowledge. They aren't passive consumers. They're strategic operators, leveraging technology while the rest of the world drowns in digital addiction. They understand that attention is currency. While the average man gives away his time for free, a Sigma monetizes his presence. If he chooses to be online, it's with a purpose: building assets, networking with valuable individuals, or creating influence that translates into real-world power. He is either invisible or highly profitable. There's no in-between. And that's what separates him from the masses. The average man is controlled by algorithms, chasing dopamine hits, trapped in a cycle of consuming instead of creating. The Sigma? He bends the algorithm to his will. He uses AI to automate income, social platforms to observe market trends, and digital tools to scale his independence. Most men waste time trying to be seen online, desperate for validation. Sigmas understand that true power comes from being either unpredictable or unavoidable. They either remain completely off the grid, ghosting the system, or they position themselves as untouchable forces that generate wealth, influence, and strategic advantage. By the time other men realize they've wasted years on meaningless digital distractions, the Sigma has already weaponized the same technology to buy his freedom. While the masses scroll, he strategizes. While they consume, he capitalizes. While they entertain themselves into mediocrity, he builds a future they'll never reach. Number 9. They extract power from secrecy, not visibility. In today's world, everyone is obsessed with being seen. Social media has turned people into attention junkies, broadcasting every detail of their lives for likes, comments, and shallow validation. But Sigma males? They move in silence. They understand a brutal truth. Real power isn't in being noticed, it's in being unknown. While others chase clout, Sigmas accumulate wealth, influence, and control behind closed doors. They don't announce their plans, they don't flex their successes, and they never let people know their next move. They let the results speak for themselves. Most men make the mistake of exposing their ambitions, giving people the chance to sabotage them. They seek approval, overshare their struggles, and brag about their goals, only to find obstacles in their path. A Sigma avoids all of this. He keeps his business private, his network small, and his power undetectable. If people can't see what you're building, they can't stop it. This secrecy extends to every area of life. Sigmas don't flaunt their wealth, making themselves targets. They don't share their weaknesses, giving people leverage over them. They don't broadcast their relationships, keeping emotional manipulators out of their affairs. Every piece of information they withhold is a layer of armor that protects them from unnecessary problems. And this is what gives them an unstoppable advantage. When you can't be read, you can't be predicted. When you can't be predicted, you can't be controlled. While other men are trapped in cycles of seeking attention and approval, Sigmas are making quiet, powerful moves that no one sees coming until it's too late. By the time the world realizes a Sigma male has won, it's already over. The power is his, the game is finished, and he disappears into the shadows, untouchable, untraceable, and undefeated. Number 10. They reverse engineer social manipulation tactics. Most people go through life completely unaware of how easily they're being controlled. They fall for emotional triggers, persuasive tactics, and subtle manipulations without even realizing it. Sigma males? They don't just resist manipulation, they master it. A Sigma doesn't blindly react to the world, he studies it like a machine learning a system. He dissects how people are influenced, how emotions are hijacked, and how societal narratives shape behavior. While others are busy getting played, he's breaking down the mechanics of the game so he can play it better than anyone else. He understands that manipulation isn't just about deception, it's about control. Corporations, governments, media, and even individuals constantly use psychological tactics to shape decisions. The Sigma doesn't get offended by this. He studies the blueprints. He learns persuasion, body language, power dynamics, and the subconscious triggers that make people act against their own interests. Then he flips the script. Instead of being a pawn in someone else's game, he starts controlling the board. He speaks in ways that make people listen. He remains unpredictable, making it impossible for others to manipulate him. He mirrors the emotional energy of those around him to build influence without revealing his true intentions. Every interaction is a controlled experiment, and this is what separates Sigmas from everyone else. The average man gets played without even realizing it, falling for marketing tricks, emotional guilt trips, and social conditioning that keeps him weak. The Sigma. He bends those same tactics to his advantage. While others live life as puppets, the Sigma studies the strings, then decides whether to cut them or pull them himself. Number 11. They treat money as a power multiplier, not a status symbol. Most men chase money for the wrong reasons. They want fast cars, designer clothes, and flashy lifestyles to impress people who don't even respect them. Sigma males? They see money for what it truly is, a power multiplier, not a trophy. To them, wealth isn't about flexing, it's about freedom. Every dollar they earn is a tool to buy independence, remove obstacles, and create an existence where no one can dictate their moves. While others are trapped in financial slavery, tied to jobs they hate, debts they can't escape, and social pressures that keep them broke, Sigmas use money to break the system entirely. They don't waste resources proving their status. Instead, they build private fortresses, both physically and financially. They invest in assets that generate passive income, allowing them to step further and further away from society's control mechanisms. They set up offshore accounts, decentralized investments, and backup plans that ensure they can disappear at a moment's notice. While others are begging for job security, Sigmas have already built their escape route. This is why they don't chase luxury for the sake of appearances. They could afford the high-status lifestyle, but they don't need the validation. Instead, they focus on stealth wealth, keeping their financial power hidden while stacking assets, acquiring land, and securing their future in ways most people can't even comprehend. The average man spends money trying to look powerful. The Sigma spends money ensuring no one can ever control him. While others flex, he fortifies. While they seek approval, he erases vulnerabilities. And while they burn their wealth to impress strangers, he silently builds an empire they'll never see coming. By the time society realizes the game has changed, the Sigma is already off the grid, untouchable, and completely in control. Number 12. They are antifragile, not just strong. Most people think strength is the ultimate goal. They believe if they become tough enough, they can resist the punches life throws at them. Sigma males? They go beyond strength. They become antifragile. Strength means withstanding pressure. Antifragility means using pressure to become even stronger. While the average man crumbles under adversity or barely manages to survive it, Sigmas feed off it. Every failure, every setback, every obstacle, it all makes them more dangerous, more intelligent, and more unstoppable. When most men lose money, they panic. A Sigma studies the loss, extracts the lesson, and comes back with a financial system so tight it never happens again. When relationships fail, the average man drowns in self-pity. A Sigma analyzes the dynamic, refines his emotional control, and ensures he'll never be manipulated the same way twice. When life hits hard, weak men break, strong men endure, but Sigmas evolve. This mindset makes them nearly impossible to destroy. Every attempt to break them only sharpens their edge. They don't just recover from failure, they profit from it. They don't just bounce back, they level up. Every loss is an opportunity, every pain is fuel, and every setback is an invitation to upgrade their entire operating system. This is what makes Sigmas so dangerous. You can strip them of money, status, or resources, and they'll still come out ahead, because their true power isn't external. It's in their ability to weaponize chaos. They don't just survive the storm, they become the storm. Number 13. They are the final boss of the societal simulation. The world isn't designed for men to win. It's designed to keep them trapped, emotionally, financially, and psychologically enslaved. Most men don't even realize they're in a rigged game. They wake up, follow the script, and spend their entire lives working, obeying, and seeking approval without questioning why. Sigma males? They see the cheat codes. They understand that everything, school, corporate jobs, relationships, even social norms, exists to control them. They don't waste time trying to win by society's rules because they know the rules were built to keep them powerless. Instead, they operate in the shadows, rewriting the entire script to their advantage. They don't get stuck in dead-end careers because they learn how to make money outside the system. They don't let relationships drain them because they control emotional dynamics, not the other way around. They don't seek validation because being liked is irrelevant when you have real power. While most men are stuck in level 1 of life, struggling with debt, chasing meaningless relationships, and wasting years trying to prove their worth, Sigmas have already unlocked the highest level. They move like the final boss in a game, untouchable and unrestricted, making moves others can't even comprehend. And that's why society doesn't know how to handle them. They can't be manipulated, they can't be controlled, and they don't play by the same rules. They don't protest against the system. They bypass it. They don't complain about the game. They break it entirely. By the time the average man realizes he's been played, the Sigma is already off the grid, financially free, and running the game from behind the scenes. Completely untouchable, completely independent, and completely in control. The world conditions men to be followers, servants, and disposable assets, trapped in cycles of emotional, financial, and psychological slavery. Most never question it. They live predictable, controlled lives, reacting instead of creating, obeying instead of strategizing. Sigma males? They refuse to participate. They don't seek validation, they don't beg for approval, and they don't fall into the traps that consume weaker men. They move in silence, operate with precision, and master every system designed to control them, only to dismantle it for their own advantage. While the average man wastes years chasing status, relationships, and fleeting comfort, Sigmas build fortresses, mentally, financially, and physically. They don't play by society's rules because they've already figured out a far more powerful strategy: complete self-sufficiency. This is why they are feared, misunderstood, and impossible to control. They don't just survive chaos, they thrive in it. They don't just resist manipulation, they exploit it. And they don't just win the game, they rewrite it entirely. By the time the world realizes what a Sigma has done, it's too late. He's already built his empire, disappeared into the shadows, and left everyone else wondering how he did it. If this breakdown hit you differently, if it made you rethink how you move in this world, then you're exactly the kind of mind that belongs here. This isn't just content. This is strategy, power, and a whole new way of seeing the game. So don't just watch and walk away. Subscribe to the channel, because every video is another step toward untouchable independence. Hit the like button to push this message further, drop a comment below, and let me know which part resonated the most. And if you know someone who's still trapped in the system, chasing approval and playing life on easy mode, share this with them. It might just wake them up, or they'll resist it. Either way, the game continues.